got the style and profile like never before. Spartans, what is your profession? Catches bullets with his teeth. Please.
Good. What's good, everybody? How y'all doing? Been a long time. Been a long time, but I'm happy to be in the building once again. Shout out to that chick, yo, up with the morning coffee already. Toronto Rick is in the building, or AKA Auntie Canada. D-Rob, my guy, salute. What up, Health Talk? Oh man, we got some things to talk about. We got some things to talk about, y'all. And for those of you that are in the building and haven't gotten on the chat, and for those who are here, welcome to Morning Motivation, your daily dose of inspiration and empowerment. I'm your host, Jamon, and I'm thrilled to have you join us as we kickstart our day with positivity and purpose. So whether you're here to seek motivation, connect with like-minded individuals, or simply get your day started on the right foot, you've come to the right place. And as you're coming in, go ahead and hit that like button and let me know you're here. And if you want to buy your boy a cup of coffee, the link is pinned in the chat. So, I was trying to get on Wednesday, y'all. I promised you I was trying to get it on Wednesday. But you know what happened? When I woke up, it was 7:55. Oh man, I blew through how many alarms? I can't even tell you. Just want to make sure you guys can hear and see me correctly and well. Put a 1 in the chat if you hear what I'm saying right now. Put a 1 in the chat if I look like I normally look. I won't say look good, but look like I normally look. Put a 1 in the chat. If you can hear me and you can see me well. Making sure I don't have no rust on me this morning and I ain't rolling before I got going. See, I got logos up, everything. Your boy's on it today, I think. Oh yeah. D-Rob about to get that massage. Bro, I need one so bad. I need a massage. I need a chiropractor. I need a little bit of everything this morning. I promise you. Been a long week. Your boy has made some decisions. I'll be sharing those with you next week because I need to finalize some things before I put it out on the interwebs. But I've made some decisions. I got some movement going in places that I need to happen. And I'm in my busy season. But busy with a purpose. Busy with a purpose. I just want to add that. Because sometimes we get busy and we ain't doing nothing. We just busy and we just tired for no reason. And I got tired of being tired for no reason, y'all. So what are we talking about today? Sour Patch Kids are more than just a delicious treat, a delicious candy. You know, I often say that my generation is probably was the best generation to be born into. If you a Gen Xer in the building, put a 1 in the chat. If you are a Gen Xer in the building, put a 1 in the chat. Now, this is not going to be a he said, she said kind of a day. It's not going to be me making fun or making light of anybody else's generation. Because I'm going to tell you why I think my generation was the best. And there's no shade or slight to anybody else's. But my generation was, in this country anyway, you got to understand. Gen Xers started somewhere around, 1965 maybe? I think 65. Between 65 and 70. That's when Generation X began. What was happening in this country around 1965? Civil rights, equality, women's rights. I mean, a whole lot of rights were happening. We had a lot of leaders in the black community that were fighting for equal pay, equality, justice, equal treatment, regardless of what your skin color was, your religion was, all the isms, racism, sexism, classism. It was a war for equality. And because of that, the music began to change. There was even a new genre of music created, hip hop. And we know that arc. It went from party music, really fun, happy, to empowerment, to braggadocious, toxic. I mean, it is ran the gamut, probably more than any other music that there has been. But also with that, religion has changed. You know, if you grew up in the early 70s or early 80s, church music began to take shape. It began to go to another level. And one of the things that I enjoy most, food began to change. Marketing began to change. What up, boo? Marketing changed. You started seeing more commercials and more cartoon characters. You started seeing endorsements. Athletes were endorsing products at an all-time high. I mean, getting big money deals. That's why today we still wear Jordans. Phil Knight at Nike started paying people to wear their products, to do their things, and everything shifted. And so around 1985, the Sour Patch Kid hit the scene. Now, about that time, I was roughly 10. Now, granted, Sour Patch Kids had been on the market for a few minutes before that, maybe sometime in the mid to late, like probably late 70s. But it was a Canadian company, so we didn't really get it here as fast as it was created. And there's a whole backstory to it, but the backstory is not important. What's important is Sour Patch Kids was my favorite candy. It was the favorite candy of most of the kids in my era. Why? Because when you pop one in your mouth, right, you get this rush of bitterness. Y'all remember Warheads? I mean, all those candies came out at that time. You get this pop of bitterness, but then you get that sweet right behind it, which made it just perfect. The perfect combination of sweet and sour. Put a one in the chat if you liked Sour Patch Kids when you were growing up. Shoot. Put a 2 in the chat if you still like them to this day. You know, sometimes as adults, you know, we get away from the things, or as we often say, they change the formula. Some of the things that we truly love growing up, 1 and 2. Ooh, yes, the crybabies. I remember those. So that's one of the reasons why I say my era was one of the best eras, because so many new things happened. Ain't nothing like your first time, y'all. You never forget your first time. And I'm talking about your first time when you eat a piece of candy or you have a certain meal. Get your mind out the gutter. Yes, and my wife now calls me her Sour Patch Kid. What up, Mo? Mo said, my son loves them. Yes. Sour Patch Kids, man. We used to go to the stadium. And whenever we go to the stadium, we always gonna get that drink from that fountain drink, right? Where we just mix all the flavors together. Got to get that slice of pizza or hot dog, depending on where you went. But you always got the Sour Patch Kids. And the skating rink that we had, they kept them on deck. So, Sour Patch Kids, y'all. This is what I would call the snack of champions. because it mirrors life. So Bobby says 2. So she still loves him to this day. Probably because I'm her Sour Patch Kid. Because, I can be a little sour sometimes. I might drip with the sarcasm every now and then. Not too often. Just every now and then. But then there's a really sweet middle. And I'm talking about myself right now. Talking about myself right now. If you can get past the rough exterior, inside, it's a really nice person. It's a very sweet person. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all know people like that. They really rough on the outside. But when you truly get to know them, you realize they just been through some stuff. They may have some trust issues. They may have some disappointments. Life just didn't work out. Oh, Bobby, you clowning me right now, y'all. Said only on the days that end in day. I'm not that bad, y'all. Y'all know if I was that bad, she probably wouldn't be here. She wouldn't be here if I was that bad. Oh, Monique said, it's me. Hey, you got that rough exterior. But just some things has happened in your life that has made you feel a way, made you want to protect yourself a little bit more. You want to make people prove who they are before you let them in. I told y'all about this park that I grew up around called Frazier Park. And it was my street that I grew up on, it was literally one street that kind of went around in a big U. But because it was 2 entranceways, it was 2 different names. One was Horner Street, another was Spring Street. And they met in this cul-de-sac kind of a thing. And it was a church on the corner called Spring Street Missionary Baptist Church. Shout out to the church, folks. But it was a patch of land on the other side of the church. And it was probably half an acre of land. Maybe a little bit more. And on that land was a horseshoe pit that could hold easily 100 people, 200 people. It was a bandstand and a dance floor. It was showers for the kids, a duck pond, swings, sandboxes, basketball courts at the very back. Then there was a couple picnic tables. I mean, it was a good place to hang out. It was definitely man-made, but it was man-made for the community. And the guy who actually created it and put it together, his name was Mr. Frazier. Mr. Frazier was probably, when you're a kid, old people, they just look old for a long time. So Mr. Frazier, he had to be in his late 60s during this time when we were probably between 6 and 12. He was probably in his late 60s. But Frazier Park was the place to be during the daytime, and it was only open from 8 in the morning to roughly 5 at night. He did it for the kids, the young kids. He never wanted the big kids to come in and mess it up or take it over. And so all the kids in the neighborhood and surrounding neighborhoods during the summertime were our babysitters, the people that were quote unquote watching us, which won't nobody watching us. They just said, go outside and play, and we went straight to the park. But there was, back then, you could say something to other people's kids. So when we got out of line, people the adults that were around could check us real quick and get us back in line. Because back then, it truly did take a village. The village was active back then. And so we'd be out there playing, having a good time, and then here come Mr. Frazier. He was probably 6, I don't know, he might have been 6 foot, might have been a little shorter. He looked tall, even to a kid. To an adult, I think he was tall as most adults. So he's probably about 6 foot, always had this cigar in his mouth. And the craziest thing is, I never saw the cigar in the beginning. I never saw him light a new cigar. He always had this one little nub in his mouth, the corner of his mouth, and he just be talking like the guy from Coming to America. You're not Hakeem. I know this. There was the little cigar in the corner, but it was always lit because you saw smoke coming out. And I knew him for years, and I never seen him light a cigar, so I don't know if it was a fake cigar or what. But he was the meanest looking man. He looked like if you saw him in a dark alley, you would run. If you saw him in a light alley, you would run. If you saw him anywhere, you would not approach him. He was not a friendly looking guy. But every now and then, somebody would do something and you see a smile come across his face. I think he was the original Sour Patch Kid from my upbringing. He always had this rough exterior. But what kind of heart could he have had if he created all this for the children? Tells me Mr. Frazier saw some things. He'd been through some things. He was trying to keep the kids in the neighborhood safe and out of trouble during the summers when we were not in school. When our parents, both of them, normally had to go to work and we were being kept by our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers who didn't get around as much. And when you being babysat or kept by an older adult, you know you can get over. So Mr. Frazier took it upon himself to be the neighborhood caregiver. He didn't charge us a dime. Our Halloween time, he come around, he gave us not just the small little candies, he gave us big candy bars, he gave us money for Halloween. You would get like a silver dollar or, the big 50-cent pieces. I mean, he gave us like money. And back then, you could take 50-cent pieces and go get 50 pieces of candy because it was called penny candy. Y'all remember penny candy? You see, my generation, bro, I'm telling you, it's not said no slight, no shade, but it was just so many things that happened in my generation that made it sweet that don't happen today. And didn't happen before that. It did, but it was all in smaller levels. Now I know some of you millennials and you Gen Zers, y'all have y'all thoughts on what makes y'all generation good. And that's cool. That's cool. No hate to you, no shade to you. But mind you, the things you enjoy today came from my generation, and we saw it first. We like Ray J. We had it first, baby. That chick Yosa still got some 50-cent coins. Yeah, that was, man, it was a good time. You were still in an era where you could leave your doors unlocked. You were still in an era where you had communities, people actually knew each other. I have neighbors, and I know the ones directly around me. The ones up the street, the ones down the street, I have no clue who they are. Half time, they don't even wave when they're driving by. That wasn't the case growing up. Bro, we were born in the 90s. What? First off, there's only one person, maybe two, in this whole community right now that was born in the 90s. I'm just going to put that out there. I ain't going to call no names, though. It's at Penny Candy at Gracie. Oh, Gracie Wall's store beside the house. Yes. I don't know Gracie, but we had a Miss Emma, the candy lady. She sold freeze pops, the home, like out the pack, the long ones. She also made the cup with the Kool-Aid that she froze. Come on now. It feels so old to say that these days. Hey, man. Time waits for nobody, bro. You just keep rushing. Penny Candy helped me start my candy business. Exactly. Selling candy in school, bro. We were some of the original entrepreneurs. Oh, the 1900s. Yeah, man. We all born way back in the 1900s. Yep, back in the 1900s. Let me see. Hold on. I want to do a test, Monique. was Miss Gracie, older black lady, not like obese, like fat or anything, but definitely a little bit overweight. She stayed at home all day. She got a little Social Security, and she sold a penny candy, you know, just to make the ends meet a little bit more. But also, she enjoyed spending time with the kids that came through. Do that sound like Miss Grace? Miss Grace was amazing. Crank is still standing. Say the lady that stayed behind our grandmother's house sold candy and freeze pops. Yeah, that was the hustle, right? But just like in everyday business, yes, that's because I just described Miss Emma. All the candy ladies looked the same. They might have been a little different complexion, but they all look the same. I think our generation, man, we had something special. It was the first generation where you could we had the right, or not the right, the ability. We all should have had the right, but our generation had the ability to have our own autonomy without worrying about, you know, becoming strange fruit, without worrying about, you know, lynch mobs. We could go to college. I mean, it was the advent of a different world. A different world came out of our generation. I'm talking about the TV series, the one that made HBCUs popular. Because some of us went, in previous generations, there were black folk that went to college, but not in droves. Not in droves. Most had to go to work. They didn't even make it to high school. They got to 8th grade, then they went and worked on a farm, and they provided for the family. Sound like the Oracle, she was definitely making them cookies, right? Psst. Stereotype. That actually might be true. So she even let you start a tab until, oh, hey, your mama get paid on Friday, I want to see you. Or let you help her in the store to pay it off. Exactly. Yep. Or you can help, man, I done stocked that store so many times. Woo. And I can't lie, I did slide a piece of candy or two in my pocket. But I had to test the merchandise. I need to make sure that the customers that was coming, they got everything they needed. They got what they was paying for. I was quality control. Exactly. So why are we going down memory lane today? I enjoy going down memory lane for one. But two, there's this in the health world, they call it the silent killer. Do you know what the silent killer is in the health world? I know somebody out there has their medical degree, or they know somebody who has a medical degree, or a nurse, or they just watch a lot of TV. So she always called to see more. I know what, I will give you the game right now, but it's past. It's past. You know, we're not doing that. And I don't want no wayward young kid to get caught up trying this method, because it works like 100% of the time. It works. But anyway, I digress. So she always caught me whenever I did that. All right, now y'all got me wanting the pickle and a side. Oh man, the pickles I could rock with, but I just couldn't eat the sausage. It was weird for a dude to be walking around eating the sausage. Dudes was not gonna let you live if you walking around eating the meat stick. So, you know. We couldn't even eat bananas in peace. My community, bro, my immediate neighborhood, they weren't giving you no grace. Monique said I always paid her back because I felt bad. Oh, I paid her back with my service. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say it. I'll get that bag of penny candy. It used to come in the big bags. And I used to be putting it in the hot sausage. And I used to be putting it in her little containers, because she would take it out the bag and put it in one of those big tubs, so when the kids reach down, they would drop it into another one, and she would count, or she make them count it, or she would count it, depends on how old they were. But I would take it, and I'd be pouring it, and I accidentally, on purpose, pour it all over the table, and the ones that drop on the floor, because she was so busy grabbing on the table, I keep the ones on the floor under the table, or I step on them. Then as soon as she leave the room, bow, pocket, pocket. Then it was always the ones that fell behind the containers that she didn't see. Man, I was getting it. I always had candy, which actually launched my candy business. Because when I got in elementary school, me and my cousin Quincy, we used to stop by the store. We used to walk to school some days because we did live like 2 miles from the school, but we used to walk sometimes because our parents were like, we were latchkey kids. So our parents were at work. So they would entrust us to get on the bus. Most times we got on the bus. But whenever we had some money, we would miss that bus and walk onto the store, get us some candy, and go sell it. So why are we on this memory lane trip? Why are we talking about Mr. Frazier and him being a Sour Patch Kid? Why does B call me her Sour Patch Kid? Nobody put in chat about the silent killer, did y'all? How about onion pickles? Health Talk, what's an onion pickle? I ain't never heard of an onion pickle. Is it like pickled onions? Or it's a pickle that got onions in the pack? You got to help me with that one, my guy. I don't know nothing about that one. Onion pickles. Yes, high blood pressure, hypertension. They call it a silent killer. Stress is definitely somewhat of a silent killer. Diabetes ain't nothing silent about diabetes. People losing limbs messing with diabetes. Serious headaches, all that good stuff. But what we talking about today? Bitterness, y'all. Bitterness is the silent killer. And not of the physical body, but of your dreams, of your life force, your life energy. Bitterness. Put a 1 in the chat if you know somebody who is bitter. Most people that experience bitterness are people 35 and older. 35 and older. And there's a reason for it. That yo laughed and put a 1. Come on. You ain't talking about Mo, are you? Come on, yo. You can't do that to Mo. Mo is not bitter. Health Talk won. Bobby won. Mo won. Mo didn't say it's me. Okay, good. Bitterness is the silent killer, y'all. In my circle of influence. No, I'm not. Good. In my circle of influence, I have had my fair share of bitter people. And these bitter people were traditionally like 50 and older. People around their retirement age or sliding into the retirement age. Lord, Monique said, I used to be back in the day. Oh, no, I can't be. See, bitterness takes some time, yo. Now, there are some young people that do experience bitterness because they just been through a lot of trauma and they get real jaded by the world and whatever's happening. Mo said, I've learned while living and understanding people. Okay, good. There's one thing that I always say, you guys might remember this, but it's one feeling I never want to feel. One feeling I never want to, let me rephrase that because, some of y'all minds aren't in the right place sometimes. But when I'm in my 70s, when I'm in my 80s, I don't want to look back over my life and feel regret. Y'all remember me saying that? I don't want to look back over my life and feel regret. There's just something that it just never sat right with me. Because life is so it's life is if you were fortunate enough to be born in this country in this era and have this skin color, this is probably one of the best times in this country, to say the least, to be born. You can be whatever you want. You can have most things. There's not much you don't have access to or can't get access to. The sky truly is the limit. So the question is, why do some people find themselves in bitter places? Generally, people get bitter because there's some unmet expectation. I think we all understand that. We didn't do the things that we could have done in a moment. We didn't put our best foot forward in a relationship that we really loved. We really liked being in, and we lost it, and it was our fault. We went out there, guys. I don't know how many guys can experience can relate to this, but I told y'all last year, I was this young lady I really liked. I really enjoyed spending time with her. I enjoyed talking with her. We had a great chemistry and a great connection. But then Sister Thickbone came walking in and took my eyes over there, and I couldn't see past the beauty. I couldn't see past Sister Thickbone. And I walked away from a relationship that fed everything in me except my flesh. Because the spirit is willing, y'all, but y'all know the flesh is weak. Y'all know the flesh is weak. And I was in high school. I was young and dumb, as some of the sisterhood be saying. I was young and dumb, girl. I was young and dumb. I didn't know what I was doing. And when I lost that relationship, it resonated with me on another level, because I realized in that moment that you can miss out if you're not careful. Life really does happen. There really are consequences in life. And so at that age, you know there's consequences, but like not real life consequences. Friends will forgive you. People will get over it. No, they don't always get over it. And it took me literally 20 years to become friends with that girl again. But it was never the same. We were cordial. She looked out for me a time or two when I needed some help. She was there for me. But we never recovered the friendship that we were building. And then the crazy part is, I didn't even get Sister Thickbone because sanitation was an issue. So I've messed up a great thing, a great friendship, a great potential relationship over fool's gold. So imagine doing that to the love of your life. And then you never find that love again. And you spend the rest of your life searching for that love that you messed up. Y'all don't think that will cause some bitterness? Y'all don't think that will cause some resentment? Yeah, it will. For sure. And so most of the people, I told that story. Yeah, y'all remember. Stinky Booty Tootie. Y'all so creative. Yeah, man. She was just young, and I guess she was just throwing that thing around like it was a football, and didn't understand how to maintain it. Didn't understand what self care was like, and so I never wanted to grow old and have a bunch of those regrets. Dang, Mo. Mo said, I left the ocean for a fish market. Yo, I like that's a bar. That is a bar. Oh my goodness. So I know so many seniors today that they're just bitter and seemingly bitter for no reason. Seemingly bitter for no reason. So, what we're going to talk about, not today, we're going to really get into it next week about why people are bitter. And I think I've covered certain parts of this, but there's a couple of different reasons why people are bitter. And it honestly is about having empathy for the people that are part of the lives of these bitter people, and they're hard to be around. Take a lot of energy to be around bitter people. You gotta be patient. You gotta be kind. You gotta have empathy. Sometimes sympathy, and there's various reasons. And one reason and I'll just talk about this one for a hot second, but we're gonna really cover it next week. People that are in a lot of pain. What first comes to my mind are veterans. People who have, love you, babe. People that have been injured. Professional athletes who had long careers, and then when they're done, their body is just beat up. And they're popping pain meds all the time. They stay in the gym because if they ever stop working out, they fall apart. Veterans who have lost limbs, and they call phantom pains. You still feel the limb even though it's not there. Prolonged pain, or chronic pain is the medical term. Chronic pain causes the long-term effects, man, depression, and all kind of stuff. But bitterness is a thing that normally comes from chronic pain, especially if there's no mental health considerations in there. There's some other unmet expectations. If there's some jealousy or some envy, you were part of a group and you took the brunt of whatever trauma that happened, and the group moved on and forgot about you. People get bitter. So that's what we're going to really talk about next week. And we're going to talk about also how to get out of the bitterness, because some of us, we're in a bitterness slide. We on that slide of bitterness right now. And just imagine. Y'all remember the metal slides we had back in the day? That was not a good thing from our generation. Those metal slides that just sat in the sun and was 100 degrees, and if you slid down it with shorts on, you left skin on the slide. Or when it rained, you dropped down into a mud puddle. I'm surprised most of us ain't traumatized, but we had a lot of good times, but we had some rough stuff happen too for us Gen Xers, man. So for the next, burn your butt up, boy. So for the rest of the time today, I want to make it a light day, a fun day, but I wanted to really, put a stamp on bitterness and why somebody like myself could be considered a Sour Patch Kid. D-Rob said it. You know what? Probably. Yes, we are very seasoned, Mo. We are very seasoned. So for the rest of the day, I want to talk about some bitter, some bitter characters, like from movies or shows. Y'all are more seasoned than I am. No, not by much. Not by much. So, one of my favorite movies, and I came home one day and my wife, my mom, they were watching this show. And it is one of my favorite all-time movies. Y'all remember Gladiator, right? Gladiator. Maximus was the gladiator. Said D-Rod said, I'm season 2, y'all. Hey. D-Rod, they're just like saying, I'm 14 and a half. I'll be 15 in 9 months. Ooh, Scar on the Lion King. Shout out, boo. Scar on the Lion King was probably one of the most pettiest, bitter characters ever. Oh my goodness. I don't know how I keep forgetting about Scar. Simba will come around and just be happy and just bounce in the Scar's like, oh, here this fool come again. I want to say another F word. This little fooler. Oh, boy. So bitter that he even planned the assassination of his brother and his nephew. Some of y'all be thinking it's sweet. You never know what's in the heart of a person. You never know. And when a person is bitter, it's no telling the lengths that they'll go to feel something. Some people are bitter for so long, they're just numb. And we walking around life winning. Think about it. We on morning motivation. We talking about personal development, living our best life, best outcomes. Children doing good, blessed, we're making moves, we're reaching and accomplishing our dreams. We understood that building and chasing dreams is not easy work. Paid in full, bruh. Woo. So y'all understand this. Y'all understand where we going. Paid in full. Dude named Ice was bitter. Super bitter. Monique said he was so sarcastic this summer. Poor kid had no clue. No clue. But that's how most of us walk around. We walk around because many of us are in a stage in life where life is still giving us stuff. We still have our health. We still have our youth. We still have, for ladies, y'all, them girls still sitting up, backside still perky. Guys, shoulders still broad, chest still popping, biceps still nice. Hadn't had many health challenges, don't have no health condition to speak of. But once you get a little further on down the road, as they say, you ain't got as much energy. All the dark hairs done start turning gray. Now instead of rocking the beard and the goatee, you're clean shaven every day. You're using a little Beijing in your hair. You're trying to recreate your hairlines. I know 80-year-old men with hair darker than mine. Oh man, and then now guys can get, go and get the weave, put the weave installed in the toupee kind of haircuts now. I'm just looking at it like, wow. Trying to stay what they used to be. You're not there no more. Ages and stages, we all change. You got to embrace it. You got to embrace it. And be the best version of yourself no matter where you are. And it does. It takes a lot of energy to be bitter. But guess what bitterness does? Bitterness makes you feel something. When you bitter, you feel something. bitterness is a mission. It's a cause. It's like some people prefer to wear the cape of the hero and they want to go out and save the world. They want to save the planet. Some people want to put that cape on and go save all the destitute young ladies out there. Want to put every young woman that's at the shoe model establishment. Want to put them through college. Some people have the cape for justice. Some people cape for families. And there's some people, they cape for the victims. They cape for the bitter bunch. You know what, yo? We've been saying that for years. A way to find out if it's, we're talking about guys. Way to find out if it's real, let's go swimming. I've seen so many TikToks where the girl would know that the guy got this whatever done, and she go put her hand in the head and rub it, and all of the dye will come out on her hand. Half his hairline will be gone. It's wild. But they got some sophisticated ones now, though. Evil from Deliver Us from Evil. Ooh, yeah, she was so bitter, yo. And so sometimes people take that bitterness and they wear it as a badge of honor. I deserve to feel the way I feel. And I'm going to make you feel everything. Every disappointment I am putting on your shoulders. Monique said, that's my movie, D. Deliver Us from Evil. Man, she was a bitter thing. The movie Gladiator. One of my favorite movies. And what's the character that everybody hate in the movie? The one who killed his dad because his dad was not going to choose him. The one who was in love with his sister. The one who was just Commodus. That's his name, Commodus. They were just watching this movie. And I never understood why he couldn't see how jacked up he was. But I came across a scene where he was talking to his dad. This is just my wife and my mom was watching it last week. He was talking to his dad when his dad said that he wasn't going to make him the emperor, that he was going to turn it over to Maximus, and Maximus would turn it over to the citizens once Rome was ready. Oh, he couldn't stand it. And he said, you know, you've always liked him better because he has courage, because he's brave. He said, but I have a different courage too, Father. You never noticed. Monique said Eva had a lot on her shoulders. Yes, she did. She's saying some things, some disappointments. She wore that cape of, I'm the protector, I'm the provider. I got to make sure they live a good life. And she forgot to live her own life. She was a true Sour Patch Kid. She was a true Sour Patch Kid. I know people, younger people that are Sour Patch Kids because they just hadn't figured it out. They're afraid to make the moves because, you know, fear of the unknown heaven is stronger than living in a known hell. Just stronger. I get it. So a lot of people are walking around as Sour Patch Kids. And some of us have donned the identity, not of a Sour Patch Kid, but I'm just prideful. I'm proud of who I am. I work hard to be where I am. And I dare anybody to come across me because I'm going to give them the business. Anybody who thinks they're better than me, I'm going to give them the business. As Mo said, that takes I think it was Mo said, it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy to be that. Because the goal should be progression. Becoming the next best version of yourself. In every stage, every year, we should be adding something to our toolkits. Every couple of years, we should be adding something to our financial portfolios. Every couple of years, we should be adding new skills, new development. When I say become a better version, I don't mean become a new person. I mean become the same person, but more well-rounded, more evolved, more confident, more happy. more in tune with what's happening around you. Being a better parent, a better son, daughter, friend, employee, boss, manager. Just every year getting slightly better. Learning not to take things so serious. It's like when in the church world, when you become a new Christian, when you are a new saved, and they say you on fire for the Lord. How many, put a one in the chat if you ever been on fire for the Lord? Or you known somebody that been on fire for the Lord. And they walk around, they Bible thumping, they separating themselves from family and friends because they not walking the same path. Or somebody when they get on a new job and they come in, they trying to do everything by the book, every regulation. Oh, I got a 10-minute break. Set the timer now, 10 minutes. And then they go sit in their car. Monique said one still is. That's what I'm talking about, Mo. And they set their timer on their little lunch break or 30 minutes. I got 30-minute lunch. Timer set. I'm back at my desk at 29:58. Sticklers for the rules. When you in that new space, the rules matter a little bit more because you're embodying whatever it is that you're doing. You're in a new relationship. Guys, when we get in that first new relationship and our eyes are just like, oh, all I see is her. We see other chicks, but we don't really see them. Something about the name Jesus. Something about the name Jesus. Oh, Lord. See, D-Rod messed up when he put a mic there. When he put the mic there, I had to say something. And I would do the Rance Allen, but it's just too early. It's too early for that. It's too early to go the full Rance Allen. Whew, my throat about to collapse now. Let me give me a little sip. Hold on. But yeah. And so, what generally happens when you go so hard for something, and then somewhere along the way, you start developing, if you're in the church, could be church hurt. It could be disillusion. I've been praying for 15 years straight for one answer, and God ain't answered my prayer. He ain't spoke to me. He ain't said nothing to me. I don't even feel him. I know I'm saved. I said the words. I don't do the things I used to do. I don't speak how I used to speak. I got a new walk. I got a new talk. All those things that they say I do, but I ain't hear from the Lord. Well, Lord, if you don't make this light blink 3 times, I'm done. That's just one example. It's thousands more of scenarios where people have been gung-ho about personal development. Oh, new year, new me, baby. I'm about to lose some weight. I'm about to get on this new thing. 3 months later, man, you back eating honey bun cake. You back seeing Miss Gracie, buying all the penny candy. Monique said, no faith though. Look, pray and move on like it's done. That's a bar. Monique dropping bars today, y'all. That's a bar. I'm just saying. But it happens so often that people get disillusioned about stuff because life is hard. And when you're younger, you're more idealistic. Sometimes more, altruism or altruistic. You want to do things that benefit mankind. Then at Popeyes the next day, can I get a 6-count biscuit, 3-piece spicy, and some shrimp? And what's their dessert? I forget, I don't know their dessert. I don't eat Popeyes that much no more. But whatever the dessert is, let me get one of those on the side to go, and a Diet Coke. Right? My mom just made one the other night. I got in last night about 10-ish, and I'm content to go to bed. I'm about to go lay it down. I'm still finishing a cup of coffee that I had last night. Yeah, I drink coffee all day long, pretty much. Well, not all day. I normally drink it till about 12, and then I might, if I got to work late, I'll stop by the store and I'll grab me a cup of coffee about 7, and I'll just sip it while I'm at work. And I still had some left in my cup last night. So the spoonful you had was good. And so me and my wife last night drinking coffee, eating honey bun cake before we went to bed.
Bruh.
No, we wrong, but it was good, y'all. Mama PB baking some cakes, y'all. Mama PB baking some cakes. Y'all got to experience them. Nope, it's not time to do work stuff yet. So, people get disillusioned in life quite often, and that's what creates a lot of the bitterness. Yep, I'm telling your business. Because you got me out here living foul. Knowing I just lost weight, I'm gaining it all back. You got me living foul out here, woman. Supposed to be my helpmate. Not my help me get fat mate. But I love it though. Hey, it feels so good. D-Rob said, D-Rob, only Southern red velvet cake will I eat. Northern red velvet cake, bruh. Just say just call it chocolate cake and just take the food coloring out. But that Southern red velvet cake, tastes so good, make you want to slap your mama. Come here, mama. Oh man. But yeah, so this is what we're gonna talk about next week, man. So I missed a day this week, so I'm gonna try to go 3 days next week. And we're gonna talk about it was good, boo. It was really good. And so we're gonna talk about, the scenarios and why people grow bitter. And there's some characters that I really want to do a deep dive on. Some of these favorite characters. And none of the ones y'all mentioned today would let you know how many bitter people in the world, how many bitter characters are in the world, how many living, breathing, walking Sour Patch Kids exist all around us. All around us. Every day, every way. Hey. I look amazing and handsome. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Well, baby, as I always say, don't nobody want me but you, girl. But I'm honored that you chose to stay by my side. I promise you. When I'm out, man, I don't see nobody. I don't see nobody looking at me no more. They already know, I guess. I don't know. But I'm glad you like Sour Patch Kids. One thing I used to say to my wife, man, a few years ago. Now, this is not an exact quote because I think I'm going to mess it up. But it was something to the effect of, I would say everybody is broken. Nobody is perfect. We all have our slights, our challenges. But baby, your brokenness and my brokenness fits together. You broken perfect just for me. That's what I used to always tell her when we would be, how you had those down moments when you just ain't really feeling good. You really ain't, you down on yourself and you feel like you just, what am I doing? When you find your person, it's not a heavy lift to go through the challenging times with them. They inspire you. They pull you out of some of that Sour Patch Kid, just like in Deliver Us from Evil. They pull you out of it. Because sometimes we get stuck. But we got to learn how to let people in. We got to learn how to get unstuck to go live the life that we truly want to live. Because we can't always help what happens to us, especially once it's already happened. Nothing you can do to prevent what's already happened. But going forward, you can live an amazing life. You can start now. And I'll say this as I get ready to close, and we'll talk about it more next week. I found myself in a very bitter place once upon a time. And I was younger. And as I've gotten older, I discovered why I was so bitter. I was bitter primarily because I was living from my past perspective. The things that happened that I didn't like, the things that I felt like should have been for me that didn't happen for me. The relationships, the hugs, the kisses, the opportunities. I mean, you name it. Hey, Eva and Raymond, that's it. You name it. I was stuck thinking about it. And the day my life truly started changing for the better is when I stopped focusing on what was behind me and started looking toward the things that was before me, the future things that I actually wanted. When I started focusing on those future things, my present actions begin to change. But as long as I was focusing on those things that were behind me, those things that happened, they kept my present actions from changing. It kept me stuck. And I was a cynic about everything. So we're going to get more into that next week. But focus on those things that are before you. Forget those things which already happened. It's happened. It's in the past. You can do nothing about it. So you keep your eyes forward. And everything you need will take shape. It'll find its way towards you. Be easy, Health Talk. Take it easy, my guy. We're going to talk. I'll hit you up sometime tomorrow, too. But yeah, man. Sour Patch Kids are more than a delicious candy. It's our mama, it's our daddy, it's our neighbors, it's your spouse. Sometimes it's your kid. Sour Patch Kids, man. They got this bitter exterior. But if we can just get to the center where it's sweet. Hey, Cigar Fridays, I like it. Monique says, distraction from old pain causes delays in future joys. Monique dropping bars today, y'all. She is the one, right? She's dropping them bars today. Dropping all the jewels. But yeah, so I missed you guys, man. And I'm glad to be back today. And like I said, we'll try to go 3 days next week. And we're talking about bitterness. And we're going to do it for the whole week because it's an epidemic. I've met so many bitter people lately. And because I'm looking forward, I'm not in that space. So I'm not recognizing. But bitter people cause problems for you. Bitter people will hurt you. Bitter people will derail your future if you don't recognize what bitterness looks like and how dangerous bitterness can be. So that's what next week's going to really be about, man. So thank you for joining me this morning. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to our channel for more empowering content. And don't forget to share this video with anyone who could use a little morning motivation. Until next time, have an amazing day. Keep striving for greatness. And we'll see you guys on Monday. As Health Talk say, have a great day no matter what. Do some personal development. Do some self-care. Go and get that massage. Get that cigar and the massage, D-Rock. I think I might grab me a cigar, a real cigar today myself. But anywho, that's it, man. Happy Friday. I got to hit the road in a few minutes, so good seeing you all again. And Monday it is. Y'all be blessed. Peace.